Welcome to the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. Nobody brings you more comprehensive coverage of high school sports in Middle Tennessee than Main Street Preps. Today's show is brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Remember, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now, please welcome the host of the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show.
Welcome into another episode of the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. I'm Russell Vannozzi, back after a 1-week hiatus there for vacation in Week 10. But my timing is good here because we are ready to roll for Week 11, which is going to decide a lot of playoff scenarios, a lot of playoff seedings, plenty to play for many teams. We're going to talk about those storylines in just a moment, along with making some predictions for some of Week 11's top games across Middle Tennessee. Before we do all that, though, we're going to welcome in Riverdale football coach Will Kriesky for an interview. And he's going to join us right now on screen. There he is. Will, how you doing today?
Good. How y'all doing? Appreciate y'all having me on to talk a little Warrior football.
Absolutely. We're happy to do it. And Will, great week to have you on. And the Battle of the Boro coming up this week. And I know that's been a game that Oakland has dominated recently. I believe they've won the last 12 meetings, but your team's playing really well. I guess just when you look at this matchup, from what you've seen from Oakland, just following them this year and also watching film, I mean, what are some of the your impressions of kind of what you guys are up against this Friday?
We're up against a really tough physical defense. Their D-line is really good. They come off the ball really hard. They're really good with their hands. And their first step at a point of attack is very aggressive. And they've done a really good job of dominating the line of scrimmage each week. This year up front on the defensive line. Their linebackers fly around. The Ellison kid is tough. They got Marcus Bullard and Craig Tutt, a young kid, number one, who's played really well this year. I think he's one of the up and coming kids that'll be a big time recruit in the near future. If not, he's maybe blown up now, but we got to be able to start fast, be able to move the ball and stay consistent. Offensively, for Coach Kriesky, everybody knows what he does. He's gonna formation you to death. He's gonna run the football. They have over 2,000 yards rushing this year, but also with that they complement that with 1,000 yards passing, and they play a lot of different guys. You see a lot of different running backs. 17. He's up for Mr. Football. Morris, and he runs the ball really hard. He's a physical runner, and he makes you miss when you're in space. The kid from DCA, Ashton Jones, he plays really well. He's a very physical runner. Kind of reminds me of when I first got to Riverdale of our number 5, Adam Davenport. I think he can make you miss. Ashton's not going to go down on the first tackle. So he runs the ball hard, and those guys have done really well. And Hainsworth has come back from an injury. He's also another one that runs the ball hard and very physical, big kid. So we got a lot of hard work cut out for us this week. They also been playing 2 quarterbacks, so you got to not prepare for 1 quarterback for 2. Coach Kriesky's son Kyler started the season off really well, really hot, and then had a shoulder injury, has been out. And then the backup quarterback Freeman's come in and played really well. While he was out, I think he's thrown for 740 yards. So both of those kids can play big-time football, 6A football. But, it's really impressive to Coach Kriesky have these guys playing the way they are because it's a young roster. And the majority of those guys come back next year. But, again, Coach Kriesky, does what he does and has his guys ready to play. And it's going to be tough. The Battle of the Boro, last regular season game, it's for a region title. Like you said, Riverdale hasn't beaten Oakland in over 12 times. So we got our work cut out for us. The kids have been focused. They've been working hard this week. Got a few more practices left in us before we get that test.
Yeah, certainly a lot to think about there. And Will, your team's played really well this year. Score 7-2 with losses to Henry County and Germantown, 2 really good opponents there. You guys are entering Friday's game on a 5-game win streak. Like you said, this is going to decide the Region 3 6A title. I mean, how exciting of an opportunity is that to come down to the last week of the regular season and to be in contention for that number 1 seed and, what's been traditionally a tough league year in, year out?
Yeah, I complimented our kids and told them how proud I was that number 1, they secured a home playoff game for round 1. And then for for now, they set themselves up to play in a region championship game. It's been a long time since Riverdale's gone into the last week of the season with the opportunity to win the region, and they've set themselves up nice. We started off 2-2 at the beginning of the year, and people questioned us and questioned a lot of things we were doing, and the kids trusted the process and kept believing and kept working. We scheduled a tough schedule this year. We come out of the gate with Smyrna, and then we went to Henry County, and then we had Beach at home, and then we played Germantown. And all those teams got us ready for what we saw each week in our region. Like you said, we have a tough region here, and I felt like those early games, being non-district games, was going to help us prepare us for the region competition. And I think it helped us as a team grow each week when we face those tough opponents.
Let's talk about some of your players now. You've got several guys having great seasons here. Of course, quarterback Braden Graham is right among them. He's completing 72% of his passes for 2,400 yards, 33 touchdowns, and just 1 interception. And the yardage number is one thing, Will, but you don't see a completion percentage and a touchdown to interception ratio like that at the high school level very often. How has Braden been able to be so effective this year as a senior?
Braden has really grown up from his junior year to his senior year, and we've been really proud. But it's really not a shock to any of us on the coaching staff or his teammates because of how hard he's worked this offseason. As soon as the season was over last year, he went to work immediately. And he's always working. He's always in the film room studying. He's always with our offensive coordinator, Justin Barnes, just working on the game plan, figuring things out. I mean, he's football 24/7. He wants to be successful, and all his hard work has paid off. And then he's got guys around him to help him. Keshawn Williams having a great year. Brock Montgomery's having a phenomenal year. He averages 100-plus yards receiving and a couple of touchdowns a game. So those two guys have really helped him. And then you got Braylon Vanderbilt and Ben Woodruff, who's come along in the passing game to help step up. And also to complement that, we got 2 running backs with Dominic Taylor and Isaiah Verser. So all those guys have helped Braden be able to have this success. And again, you can't have this success unless you have a great O-line. And I think our O-line has stepped up each week to the challenge and it's helped Braden with his success. It's a team effort. And of course, when you do good, the quarterback gets pat on the back. And when you do bad, they don't. So I've been really proud of how he's handled the success and has complimented all of his teammates because, again, we always talk about the only way we'd be successful is if we're all working together. And that's what we have to do. We have to all work together and play as one unit for us to be successful.
You mentioned a bunch of guys there. I want to highlight Keshawn Williams, though. When we spoke at one point in the offseason for a story on Brock Montgomery, you said, hey, keep an eye out for Keshawn. He's coming off an injury. A lot of colleges have been in to see him even at that point. But for him to be able to come back from that injury, that knee injury, to play well for you guys, to help out the team, and then also to have this sort of meteoric rise as a recruit. He just committed to Michigan State recently. How cool has that been to see this year?
Well, as a coach, you see the kids when they go through their tough times. And last year, Keshawn really struggled. He was injured. He couldn't do anything. He stood on the sideline, and it was really hard for him. It was a tough situation. I think week 10 last year, he didn't even come to the game just because he was just in a bad state because he wanted to be out there to help his team. He wanted to be involved, and he couldn't be involved. And then this offseason, he was working to get his strength back and to get going. And he worked really hard, and we had to limit what he did this offseason. And he was chomping at the bits. There was times this spring when he was ready to fight me, just because he wanted to practice. And we weren't, he wasn't allowed to practice per doctor orders then. And then this summer we had to limit what he did. And man, that kid was so hungry. He was really hungry, and that hunger really bought his fuel. And he's just been nonstop. The way him and Brock, man, the way they practice is unbelievable. And, has really helped us with that. And the guy we hadn't even mentioned yet is Jalen Thompson. Jalen Thompson has also come in and played a lot of offense. He's played from running back to slot receiver. So all 3 of those guys right there push each other each day in practice to get each other better. Jalen and Keshawn become the best of friends, and that's part of the reason Keshawn's committed to Michigan State, because what they do, how they work together and how they compete with each other. And, it's good when you got 3 guys like that when the other one scores, the other 2 are celebrating more than the one that scores. And that's what's been special about this team.
Yeah, you beat me to my next question there, Will. I was going to ask you about Jalen, of course, a Michigan State commitment, as you mentioned, and could very well end up being teammates with Keshawn at the next level, which would be, I'm sure, cool for you guys. But Jalen has been a really consistent presence for you guys the past 2 years. As you mentioned, he's doing a lot this year. I believe he's got 5 interceptions. What's made Jalen so special?
Jalen's another one, man. He's just been really hungry and really worked hard this offseason. He does a lot of good film study with Coach Bonds, our defensive back coach, and Coach Field. They work really hard to make sure their guys are successful each week. And like you said, Jalen's had 5 interceptions, 2 of them returned for touchdowns, and that's been big, huge for us. And we're really proud of him stepping up and being a leader this year, and really getting the guys on the defensive side working together and having them all fly around. We stress defense over here at Riverdale, and you got to play physical and play fast. And he's been part of that and part of helping those guys become successful each week.
So as I mentioned, you guys have won 5 straight games entering this Oakland matchup on Friday. And then after that, it's the playoffs. And I know last year you guys had that first round exit, heartbreaking double overtime loss to Lebanon. What's it going to take this time around to have a better finish to the season, especially once the postseason arrives?
Yeah, it was tough last year losing to Lebanon, double overtime. And that's something these seniors hadn't forgotten. And so they're working each week to get each other better. I was really proud of them, the way they worked the week we played Siegel. It was tough. We played Blackman coming off fall break. Then we had Siegel, now Oakland. So, having Siegel thrown in the middle could have been a game where they overlooked, and they didn't. They didn't overlook at all. They came to work, practice, and had the mentality, let's get better. And that was contributed to our success on Friday. Is last Friday is how they worked during that week. And I was really proud of them and complimented them on that. And that's what I told them. If they wanted to keep their season alive and keep playing in the month of November, they have to prepare each week like that.
And on the way out, I've got to ask you, Will, a couple weeks ago, you got to play your brother Matt and his Blackman team, and he came out with a big win in that one. I'm curious, have you gotten any mileage out of those bragging rights yet? Or is that something you're going to kind of pace yourself on throughout the 8th month off season? Maybe not let him forget how that one ended up.
Well, I'm not going to do any talking until the playoffs are done because, the way the playoffs are set up, we can see them again. And so, you don't want to do anything to hurt you for the next time you see them. So there's an opportunity that we may have to see them again. We have to win the first round game. Then after the first round game, we could be matched up with them. I don't know. The other region is coin flip. It's got a lot to depend on this Friday. Our region, 1 and 2 depends on the Oakland Riverdale game, and then our next 3, 4, and 5 spots all depend on wins this week. So a lot of it's up in the air. I'll wait till after this week and after the playoffs before I run my mouth. But he's got a really young team, a really good team, and they're going to be really, really good in the future. So I have to be careful what I say.
Definitely. That's a smart move there. It will be interesting to see how it all shakes out. Will, thanks for your time today and best of luck against Oakland.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. That's been Riverdale football coach Will Kriesky. Really appreciate his time ahead of a big one this Friday against Oakland. Let's take a break now and then come back with some Week 11 storylines.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
As an Allstate agent in Gallatin, Larry Maynard knows many local families. His knowledge and understanding of the people in this community helps him provide customers with outstanding service. Give Larry a call at 615-452-1500. Macon Bank and Trust Company is a proud supporter of the Gallatin Green Wave. For over 100 years, Macon Bank and Trust has offered a true hometown banking experience to help you meet your financial goals. We are local people with local decision making and ready to serve you.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. With our world-class physicians, Houston Clinic Orthopedics will have you back enjoying your life in no time. From ortho care to physical therapy and more. Visit our website to book an appointment. Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
Craving the juiciest, most delicious burgers in Dixon? Look no further. Luke's Burgers and Breakfast has got you covered. Whether you're in the mood for a mouth-watering cheeseburger or a breakfast burrito, we have it all. Our secret? Only the freshest ingredients, cooked to perfection every time. So why settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary? Come on down to Luke's Burgers and Breakfast, where every bite is an experience.
It has all come down to this week 11 of high school football. For certain teams, they need to win to keep their season going. For other teams, they need to win to have a better playoff position. And let's talk about where some of the top teams stand right now. When you look at our Main Street Preps top 25 rankings, 13 of those 25 teams are in contention for region titles this week. 3 teams have already locked up number 1 seeds, and those teams are Mount Juliet, Upperman, and Clarksville. So they are good to go for the first round, but there's a lot to play for several of these other teams, and a couple of games among top teams that will decide region titles one way or another. Of course, Riverdale at Oakland is one of them. We talked about that at great length with Will, and we'll make a prediction for that one in just a few moments in our next segment. Other games that are going to decide number 1 seeds include Marshall County at Pearl Cone in Region 5 4A, Ravenwood at Brentwood in Region 6 6A, and Tullahoma at Shelbyville in Region 5 5A. There are certainly others as well, but those each involve at least one team from the Main Street Preps top 25. And there are a number of other matchups that could involve some tiebreakers depending on how they shake out. And involving ranked teams, those games include Davidson Academy at CPA in Division II AA Middle Region, Nolensville at Page in Region 6 5A, and Henry County versus Hendersonville in Region 7 5A. So any scenario that involves a CPA win, a Page win, or a Henry County win, those teams will take the number 1 seed in their leagues. But if any of them lose, things could get interesting, could get into some 3-way tie scenarios. And if that happens, if head-to-head results can't decide seeds 1 through 4 in each of these leagues, the TWSAA has a list of tiebreakers that they use. And in order, those tiebreakers are the team with the greatest number of victories, the team who plays the greatest number of teams who win 50% of their games, the team who has the greatest number of victories over teams winning 50% or more of their games, the team whose opponents have earned the most victories, the team whose opponents have received fewer defeats, and lastly, my favorite, the coin flip. I think it's been at least, I can't remember in the last few years, a coin flip deciding a region title or a playoff spot, but man, that would be something if one of these leagues comes down to a coin flip. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Would like for all this to be decided on the field as much as possible, but those are the tiebreakers at play if needed. There are a number of other games on the other end of the spectrum where teams are fighting for a playoff spot. These are the games I found that are win and in scenarios, lose and go home. There could be a couple missing here, and there are other games that are more complicated, like if one team wins and another team loses, then this team's in and that team's out. I didn't include those games. These games are strictly winner goes to the playoff, loser goes home, and they are Maplewood against Republic, Sycamore and Stewart County, Watertown and Community, Westmoreland and Trousdale County, Kirkwood and West Creek, Clarksville Academy and Mount Juliet Christian, and Creekwood, White House. If you're going to any of those games this week, there's going to be some anxious times there as all those teams fight to keep their season alive. But that's what's great about this time of the year. The football means a lot, and the way the TWSAA structured the schedules, just about every team is playing a region game this week. So should be a lot of fun to see how that all shakes out. Let's take another quick break and then come back with our picks for Week 11's top games.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
Welcome to the GR Group at Cry Like Realtors. Our team is comprised of seasoned veterans, military spouses, and other real estate professionals with strong ties to the military community. We specialize in helping our clients buy and sell homes, as well as providing comprehensive services for commercial and land properties. Whether you're relocating to the area interested in buying or selling a home, or looking for commercial or land properties, the GR Group has the expertise and resources to help you achieve your real estate goals. Contact the GR Group today.
Founded in 2005, Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, has a reputation of consistently offering the lowest possible rates and, above all, providing outstanding customer service. Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, takes pride in treating our clients with honesty and integrity. We provide excellent service and experience you can trust for all your mortgage needs, proudly serving all of Tennessee. Apply today. Call Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, 858-518-1506, or online at www.firstlendingonline.com.
NMLS number 314276, ID 135932.
Tired of hanging lights every year? We get it. That's why Southern Nights is here to help. We install programmable lighting on your home or business so you can enjoy beautiful, customizable lighting all year round. No more ladders, tangled lights, or cold nights outside. We do the work, you do the celebrating. Call Southern Nights today and take the hassle out of holiday lighting forever. For a free quote, give us a call at 931-241-3074 or visit our Facebook page at Southern Nights.
We are back with more here on the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. It's time to make some score predictions now for Week 11's top games. And as always, you can find our full staff-wide predictions for 10 games across the Mid-State at mainstreetpreps.com. Those are uploaded every Wednesday. And you can scroll to the bottom to see the standings, where I am still in a tie for first place now. I did have it outright. Now, Brady McAtamney, our Clarksville sports editor, is right there with me neck and neck. So lots to play for, too, on the pick side for our staff. 8-2 last week. Late touchdowns by Rockvale and Hendersonville kept me from going 10-0. So we're going to see if we can sort of do a little better this time. And I think a 10-0 week has eluded me all season. So anyways, high school football, tough to predict. That just goes to show you. But let's try to do it anyways. Riverdale at Oakland, the game we talked about with Will. This could be the best fight Riverdale puts up in a Battle of the Boro in some time. As we mentioned, Oakland has won the last 12 meetings. But Oakland is still Oakland. They've got a great 1-2 running back punch there at Ashton Jones and Dwayne Morris. We'll mention that as a challenge for his defense. And I think that could be the difference here. Oakland's ability to run the ball is something that is very difficult to stop, especially when you've got somebody like Morris and Jones, too, who could sort of line up at different areas on the field and get yards and touchdowns and things like that. I do think this could be a high-scoring game and a close game, but I'm going to give it to Oakland, 35-28. Moving on now to Ravenwood at Brentwood, the Battle of the Woods, another great rivalry game. And, of course, Brentwood is coming off a huge victory over Independence, 28-0. An impressive showing. Might have been their best showing of the season so far, and that's saying quite a lot given the season that Brentwood has had. They're also starting to get healthy in some key spots. Wide receiver Clayton Merrill, running back Trey Doris, who missed most of the season after getting hurt against Brentwood Academy. Those guys are both back in the fold, appear to be getting fully healthy. That adds a couple more elements to that offense there with Baylor Hayes and company putting up a lot of points this year. Of course, Ravenwood has done well, too. Their only losses are to Alcoa and Oakland, two perennial state powers. So certainly can't hang your head over those losses. They've won the rest of their games, and it's set up a matchup now to decide the Region 6 6A title winner. Have to imagine this game, just like the Battle of the Boro, is going to have a massive crowd there. You'll want to get there early to get a parking spot, to get a good seat. But I think all that said, the way Brentwood's been playing lately, coming off that win against Independence that they had, I've got to give Brentwood the edge right now. I think it will be close, though. I'm going Bruins 28, Bruins 24, Raptors 20. Staying in Williamson County, Nolensville at Page. Page can wrap up the region title with a win. Nolensville would need a win and some help to get there. But these two teams are very familiar with each other. They've played twice in the last 2 seasons. They've played each other in the regular season and then again in the playoffs. So certainly two teams that know each other and could see each other again in the playoffs, depending on how things go. But with the league title up for grabs, this one should have a fair amount of juice. And I think with the way Page has been playing defensively, they're only allowing about 6 points per game in all of their region contests. They've got linebackers Brendan Anes and Eric Hazard causing lots of havoc in the backfield. I believe they combined for 7 tackles for loss last week. So a great showing from them. And I think that's going to be make things tough for Nolensville and that offense. So I'm going to go Page 28, Nolensville 14. Let's go up to Nashville now, where Pearl Cone is going to host Marshall County. And this is going to be the Firebirds' toughest test they've had in quite some time. Of course, they opened the season with wins over CPA and MBA. And since then, they pretty much rolled in all 7 of their games. They haven't really been tested. So I think this game could tell us a lot about Pearl Cone and just how serious of a Class 4A title contender they might be. Of course, Marshall County is 8-1 on the year, has a great quarterback in Silas Teat. He's a former Oakland player. He transferred over there last year and has done a great job there leading the Marshall County offense. That said, I think Pearl Cone's got enough to keep it going here to cap off a 10-0 regular season as they try to march their way to their first state title since winning back-to-back in 1996 and 1997. I'm going Pearl Cone 35, Marshall County 24. And let's wrap it up with Loretto at Mount Pleasant. Again, another game with a lot on the line. If Loretto wins, they are the region champion. Mount Pleasant can cause some chaos by winning this game, I believe, if they do. And if Lewis County beats Waverly, there could be a 3-way tie there for first that would have to be sorted out, potentially with some of those TWA tiebreakers. But what's really impressed me about Loretto is how they have not skipped a beat since losing starting quarterback Carter Daniel for the season. Due to an injury, they've just kept on rolling. And for that reason, in the way they've played just down the stretch, I'm going to go Loretto 35, Mount Pleasant 31. As I mentioned, you can find the rest of our picks at mainstreetpreps.com. That's where we're going to have coverage of all these games on Friday. We've also got girls soccer state tournament coverage. We had volleyball stuff last week, golf the week before. We'll have cross country state championship coverage next week. Certainly a busy time for high school sports. And that's why it's also a great time to sign up for a subscription to Main Street Preps right now. It's only $3.99 a month or $34.99 per year. And you can get one of those by logging on to mainstreetpreps.com. All right, that's it for today's Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. We'll be here through the Blue Cross Bowl. So stay tuned. Next week, we'll be talking playoffs. Thanks for tuning in.
You've been watching the Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show. Nobody brings you more comprehensive coverage of high school sports in Middle Tennessee than Main Street Preps. Join us each week at this time on Main Street Media TV to get the latest news about high school football. The Main Street Preps High School Football Preview Show is brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.